We purchased our Rubicon Gladiator in 2022, and I'm coming back for a review. As you can see, we have two Wranglers, an F-350, and a rock buggy. So the Gladiator was going to be our hunting and fishing rig that does the occasional wheeling trip and some daily driving. Our Gladiator turned out to be much more than just that. You know, I used to daily drive my Super Duty, and Becca would daily drive a built Ford Mustang. Surprisingly, we both like daily driving this Gladiator a lot more. In fact, Becca actually got rid of her Mustang and has been driving this Gladiator every day. This Gladiator now has over 50,000 miles on it, most of which is highway miles, and that includes several long-distance fishing and hunting trips out of state. This thing has also done all the local off-road trails, and it's bailed us out of some tough spots while we were out hunting. This truck really shines as a hunting rig, in my opinion. It has the utility of a truck with the capability of a Wrangler. It's literally the best rig I've ever owned for that. I've stretched, axle swapped, and built 5 Jeeps now. I've also built and rebuilt rock buggies. As I get deep into my 50s, I'm just getting sick of building shit, and I wanted a new rig where I basically just add a lift, tires, and armor, and I'm done with it. I bought this Rubicon with the expectation of doing no axle swaps, no transfer case swaps, no stretches, and no gears. Well, that's exactly what we got out of this rig. We're running 37-inch all-terrain tires on a 3.5-inch metal cloak lift kit. I added a Poison Spider bumper and a Warn winch to the front. The whole underside is protected by metal cloak skid plates, which protect the drivetrain and also protect the catalytic converter from theft. Probably the best modification we did to this truck was to add this backflip bed cover on it. You know, when you're out fishing, hunting, or doing some camping, it's super nice to have everything dry and secure back here. But it's also nice to fold this backflip cover up if you want to haul out taller objects in your truck. And the bed of this size, the size of this bed on this Gladiator, it's not huge, but it's honestly big enough. You can actually fit a elk back here. I also added a Z Automotive taser to calibrate this and turn off all the nanny features on it. And that's literally all we did to this truck. You know, it's nice not to have to perpetually fuck with a Jeep. And I think this is perfect just the way it is. Now, I'll get to the topic that you really want me to talk about. What issues and problems have we experienced with our Gladiator? Well, I'm not going to bullshit you. We have had to work through a few issues, but apparently they're the same issues that everybody has with their JLs and JTs. At about 10,000 miles, the auxiliary battery on this took a crap. You know, apparently it's a miracle that that auxiliary battery even went 10,000 miles. When you dig into that problem, what an engineering clusterfuck that whole system is. But I did what everybody else does and just bypassed it. And since I bypassed it, we haven't had one issue with the auxiliary battery and disabling the ESS system. At about 12,000 miles, the rear locker sensor took a crap on us. Apparently, this happens eventually to all Rubicons, and the dealer will make you wait a year to get a completely new axle rather than swapping out that little sensor. So I bought the Z-Locker OEM bypass harness for it, and the problem totally went away. And lastly, the under hood switches for the hood and ESS sensors went bad on me. I ordered them for $25 on Amazon, and that solved the problem permanently. And those are really the only issues we've had with our Gladiator in 50,000 miles, which seems pretty common. But on a positive note, the interior on this vehicle is just holding up great. You know, we've had lots of really muddy days hunting, fishing and off-roading, and the interior has just been caked in mud and dust. And our dogs are also constantly in the truck. My wife just cranks the radio up to full blast, and we've had countless meals inside this truck, and it looks brand new inside of there. You know, if you watched my first video, we were torn between buying this Gladiator and buying a new Bronco. But that cheap, flimsy interior was one of the things that turned me off of the Bronco. The interior of the Rubicon is as durable as it looks, and it really holds up to the abuse and the environment. Now, gas mileage isn't great on this vehicle. You know, it gets about 15 miles to the gallon with these 37-inch tires on it. You know, it's a Jeep thing. But even with these 37-inch tires, the engine and transmission run the big tires great, in my opinion. The engine doesn't strain, and the tranny isn't searching for gears constantly. And the factory Rubicon gearing in this seems fine for 37-inch tires. Our Gladiator has also been stored outside every day for 3 straight years, and the paint hasn't faded one bit. Where I live, it's 100 degrees for 4 months out of the year and sunny for most of the year, and the exterior of this Gladiator isn't showing any damage from the sun. So Becca's been daily driving this Jeep now for 3 years. How do you like it?
I love it. It's the best thing ever.
In conclusion, we're very happy with our purchase. In fact, with our outdoor lifestyle, especially our hunting activity, I think this rig exceeds our expectations, and it's hard to imagine not having a Gladiator now. You know, I hated the cramped cab and lack of rock crawling or off-road capability of the Tacoma, and I hated the cheap interior, having no bed, and the bad visibility of the Bronco. I thought the Gladiator looked a little bit funky, especially in the rear with that crazy departure angle. But when you slap 37s on it, it doesn't look that bad at all. I've always had a truck to do truck stuff and a Wrangler to do Jeep stuff, but now we have a vehicle that pretty much does both. When we hit 100,000 miles, I'll revisit this again, and hopefully I'm still happy with our purchase. Thank you for watching, and keep the rubber side down.